Good morning, I'm Morgan Donner, and today I have a quick DIY video. Do you ever find yourself trying on a gorgeous new dress, only to discover that it is way too low for decent company? That simply will not do. Usually I just fix the issue with a slip or a camisole, but I was really not loving the way it looked with this particular dress. So I decided to get into the DIY spirit and make a custom bust cover solution. I'm using a few sheer lacy layers over an opaque satin, but you can stick with just one layer of fabric if you like. My piece is 11 inches wide by 10 inches tall, although I only actually ended up using maybe the top 8 inches or so. To keep the edges together, I'm going to sew around the perimeter here. There we go. Now the 3 layers are stitched together. You can, of course, skip this step if you are using just one layer of fabric. I'm going to clean up this top edge of the lace so that this line is nice and neat and even, and then I'm going to use this 1/2 inch twill tape to hem the top edge of my bodice cover. I'll just stitch it here, placing the tape about halfway off the edge. Top stitch that in place, and then we'll fold it back towards the inside of the cover and stitch the hem tape down by hand. I don't want the stitches to show through to the front, so I'm taking very small little stitch bites out of the fabric and attempting to sew just through the shiny satin layer, not all the way through to the top 2 lace layers. If you're using just one layer of fabric, you can also try to stitch as invisibly as possible. Using a thicker fabric will really help with that. Or you can just kind of lean into the fact that it's going to be visible and machine top stitch it instead. That's fine too. I haven't really mentioned it yet, but you are going to want 2 of these. One for each half of the bust. You can try pre-pleating the inner corner down a few inches here and then pinning or sewing it in place. Although once I actually went to try it on, I found that I liked a lot better to just pleat it in place over the bust itself. I got a better sense of how the pleats were looking, and I feel like I was just able to get it much more attractively arranged. As you can see here, I am using ordinary straight sewing pins, but if you have any concerns that you'll accidentally poke yourself or others, then consider using safety pins instead, and that should eliminate any possible problems. You'll want to try this on under your dress to make sure that the side and bottom edges here aren't peeking out, but I'm not going to do anything special with them. They should just stay tucked in nicely, just like this. If you are worried about fraying, however, consider binding the 3 remaining raw edges with a zigzag stitch, or if you have a serger, then this would actually be a perfect time for it. I wouldn't recommend double folding or bias binding this edge, at least not with the fabric I had, since I think it would have ended up way too bulky, and that would have made it show through underneath the dress, and that's no good. I think this might be the shortest video I've ever done. Normally I would ask you guys at this point to share your pictures of your attempts of whatever I showed you in my video, but I feel kind of weird about basically asking people to send me pictures of their cleavage, so maybe skip that one for this project. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope that it inspires you to get a little bit creative with your own wardrobe when something in your clothing just isn't quite working out how you'd like it to be. Good night everyone, and happy Solo-ween!